G'day, Josh here with another Chess Rush guide, and this one is going to be all about mana crystals, how to spend them and how to build an economy. So to start off, we're going to jump into a classic mode game against bots, so it doesn't actually matter. We're not going to be losing or anything. We're just playing against robots. It won't affect their actual rank, and we're going to break down everything there is to know about mana crystals. And we're going to start off obviously in round one. Round one in classic mode, you start with 2 mana crystals just given to you. So you actually start with some so you can buy some heroes, and you'll see that here. So up the top right, we've got 2 mana crystals, and you can see that next round we'll actually be getting 3 mana crystals. So let's go ahead and buy a couple of units. Let's buy that Nightingale, let's buy that Steel Fist, and now we're out of mana. So we can't do anything else with it. Let's chuck them on the board, because if you actually win any specific round, whether it's against creeps or other opponents, you will get 1 gold. You can see that there. You get +1 mana crystal, not gold, I should correct myself. +1 mana crystal for a win. So obviously, winning is a good thing as you're going to get a mana crystal out of it. Now, let's say I really wanted that Bionic Ninja, but I don't have any mana. Well, because I'm about to win this against creeps, we will actually get that mana as soon as I get this win. And so then I can actually go back in here, and now I can buy that Cyborg Assassin before he vanishes. And that way I don't have to actually lock those lineups to save him, and I don't get a fresh look at 5 new heroes. So that's a little tip there to keep in mind if you really need to get something, but you don't currently have enough mana. You will get 1 mana if you're about to win that round. Now let's go ahead and buy a couple more heroes. I'm just grabbing these at random at this point, chuck something out on the board. The second round, which we're in now, we got +3 gold, or 3 mana crystals, which I just spent purchasing the Unicorn Cavalier that cost 2 and the Famine that cost 1. The next round we will get 4 mana crystals, and then the round after that we will get 5 mana crystals every round, just as basic, I guess you can call it a wage that you're being paid. Every round you're getting that. So it ramps up slowly. You start with 2, you get 3, you get 4, you get 5, and then for the rest of the game you will get 5 mana crystals every round by default. Because we actually won that round, we also got an additional mana crystal. So the 4 for this round plus the 1 for that win means we're back up to 5. Let's grab that and that. And you can see there that next round we're going to be getting 5 basic mana crystals, and then we can start looking at getting a win streak as well. Now, to do that, we're going to need a win against an actual player. So round 3 is against another player. In this case, it's a bot. But if we beat that bot, we get the win. And if we get multiple wins in a row, then we'll start to go on a win streak. And then you can get +1, +2, or up to a max of +3 for going on a winning streak. The longer you continue that streak for, the more crystals you're going to get every round. You can also go on a losing streak, which can get you the same type of mana crystal income. If you lose a couple in a row, so there we go, we win that one. If you lose a couple in a row, you'll start getting 1 extra mana crystal for being on a losing streak, a few more after that, 2 mana crystals per round for being on a losing streak, once again up to a max of 3 mana crystals per round for continuing that losing streak. The downside of a losing streak is twofold. Obviously you're losing health, so you'll be dropping further down the leaderboard, and the less health you've got, the less flexible you are later in the game. And you're also not getting the +1 mana crystal for getting a win. So you can see in a second, if we get this 3rd win in a row against this human opponent, 2nd win in a row, sorry, we've only had 1 human opponent so far. And you can see, you can actually track the wins there. You can see that currently I'm on a 1 win streak in green on the right hand side there. So if we get this win as well against this bot, which we may not, as they have a 2-star hero, that Bangar there, he might clear us out. So we're probably going to lose. Yeah, so we're not going to gain anything. We don't get the +1 for winning, so we're still stuck on 4. We will go up to 9 once the next round begins, as we're getting +5 as our basic income, but we're not earning any for that win, and we're certainly not continuing that win streak. So I'm not going to spend any here, and you'll see that we're currently on 9 and we're gaining 5. So we're not on any streak, we're not on a win streak, we're not on a losing streak. But if I was to actually sell, let's say I sell this Bionic Ninja, I'll obviously go up to 10 mana crystals, but you'll notice that the +5 actually went up to +6 as well. That's because you also earn interest if I have 10 mana crystals, I will earn +1 mana crystal interest. So basically, for every multiple of 10 mana crystals, you're going to be earning an additional interest up until 50. So you can never earn more than 5 mana crystals as interest. So the maximum that you're working towards in terms of maximizing your interest, your possible interest, is getting 50 mana crystals built up. Now, you can spend mana crystals essentially on three or four things, I guess, if you consider there's two different versions of buying heroes. You're buying heroes that are currently on the board, that's sort of 1A, or you're buying heroes that are going onto your bench, that's 1B. And the reason that they're different is because the heroes on the board are directly impacting your win or losing streak and whether you're winning those matchups, whereas the heroes on the board are kind of like an investment for the future. So you're spending mana crystals on them, but they're not directly impacting the game. The other two things that you can spend mana crystals on is leveling, and I'm confusing myself. Oh, and I guess that the third thing, so yeah, leveling, you can put plus, let's do that now, +5 XP, and then we've actually just leveled up. We can now put another unit out at the start of the next battle. So you can sort of shortcut the leveling process, which is important to do in terms of strategy to make sure you're keeping up with other players with the number of units or heroes that you have out on the board. And the third thing that you can spend mana crystals on, and it's not actually spending mana crystals, it's saving those mana crystals up so that you're working towards building a sustainable mana crystal economy that's earning interest over time. So you will see a lot of players doing this as we drag, let's drag something that we don't already have on the board. So I have not been paying attention to how we're doing. Currently we're on a 3-loss streak, so you'll see now that we're actually getting +1 mana crystal for being on a losing streak. If I was to sell, let's sell both of these, and now I'll go up to 20 mana crystals, and now I'll be getting 8 next round. 5 for the basic, 2 for the interest, and 1 for the losing streak. So I've still got plenty of health to work with, 84. So being on a losing streak definitely isn't a bad strategy if you're just not going to be able to win. And maintaining a winning streak can cost a little bit more as well, but sometimes that can be worth it because, as I said, you're getting the extra +1 for the win. And if you're on a good streak, then you'll be getting 2 or maybe 3 extra mana crystals per round as well. So we are definitely deep in the middle of a losing streak here. And you'll see that our losing streak mana crystals now have actually gone up to +2. So next round, which is just beginning, we get +8, and then the following, because our losing streak has just increased, will be +9. So I'm going to go ahead and sell that as well. You wouldn't do this in a regular game, but that puts us up to 30 mana crystals, and now we're getting +10 next round. You can see the breakdown there once again. Ignore the middle +1 for the win. That doesn't carry over to the next round. That's just an instant one if you win this particular round. So, okay, let's just rehash what I sort of covered in terms of spending. There's 3 essential different things you can spend mana crystals on. 1A is heroes on the board, 1B is heroes on your bench, 2 is leveling up, and 3 is not actually spending them, it's saving them to build up an economy. Now, if we look on the right-hand side, the most mana crystals that one of the opponents has is 13. So the most interest that they can be getting at any point in time is 1. Because that's only it's only 1 multiple of 10. Whereas we're getting 3 interest, plus we're getting 2 for our losing streak. So we're actually at this point in time getting +10 mana crystals at the start of each round. Now that we lost again, we're going up to +11. So we're actually looking really, really good. And actually I'm going to sell that again just so we can maximize that. We're going to maintain our losing streak. We're looking really good in terms of getting the 50 mana crystals and then essentially maximizing our economy. So what that means is once we hit 50, then we'll start spending mana crystals over that to start re-rolling. And I guess re-rolling is another thing you can spend mana crystals on. That kind of ties into buying heroes. But I definitely wouldn't recommend doing that in the early game unless, let's say, you were trying to maintain a winning streak and you had lots of pairs of heroes on your bench and on the board, and you just wanted to level 1 or 2 of them up to a 3-star. If you have lots of pairs and you're trying to maintain a winning streak, then it's worth refreshing that screen there a couple of times just to try and get some early 2-stars. But if you're not maintaining a winning streak and if you don't have pairs that you're trying to turn into 2-star heroes, definitely don't spend early on the refresh there. Now that we have 51 mana crystals, everything that we earn, we've maximized our interest. You see that there, +5 interest. we're currently at our maximum losing streak as well. So at this point in time, the only way we could be earning any more mana crystals is by actually winning. So obviously if we start winning, we're going to be costing us that losing streak. So we just need to time it right, keeping in mind that we are down to 66 health now. So we definitely don't want to keep on losing. This is a creep round, so definitely don't spend big amounts of money during creep rounds because then you're costing yourself interest. But what's going to happen here is we're going to get 13 mana crystals. We lose that, so we don't even get the 1 mana crystal for that, but that's fine. You do definitely want to try and win those creep rounds. They don't affect losing streaks, but they do give you that 1 mana crystal for winning against the creeps, so definitely keep that in mind. Now let's check out. We've got 63 mana crystals, and as you can see there, we're still only getting an interest of +5. So we can actually spend, let's level up once, and let's buy a couple of heroes. We can put one on the board, and let's say we can refresh a couple of times. Oh, let's say we really wanted that Wukong. We're going to swap out the Famine there with the Wukong, and you'll see that we're still on 50. We're still getting +5, which is the maximum interest you can get. So getting to 50 is definitely something you want to aim for. Getting to 50 by round 11 isn't usually feasible unless you are dedicated to a losing streak economy, if that's the way you're building your economy. So you'll see that some of the other AI bot opponents now are starting to increase their mana crystals as well as they're actually working towards economies. You definitely don't want to be getting to 50 crystals by round 10 or 11 unless you are fully dedicated to a losing streak, but it's not a strategy you want to go into a game with that decision already made. You kind of play it by ear. If you start losing the first couple of rounds, then maybe you think about it. But you've also got to carefully manage that losing streak because you don't want at any point in time, let's level up again so we can get some more heroes out. You don't want at any point in time to be losing rounds by a lot, because the more of your opponent's heroes are still up when you lose, the more damage you take. So you kind of, if you're on a losing streak, you want to lose but only just, and that can be tricky to manage that. The worst thing you can do in terms of managing your economy is alternate between winning and losing. The reason for that is, sure, every second or third round that you get your win, you're getting that +1 mana crystal, but then you're never going on any sort of streak. So if you can, you want to try and aim for either a winning streak or a losing streak strategy. It's okay if every now and again you lose or you win and then you can choose a different streak or go back to the streak you were trying to build, but alternating every round between winning and losing is really, really tough. So if you're trying to go for a winning streak and it's just not happening, maybe reassess. Something to keep in mind is if you are on a losing streak, it generally pays not to put money into leveling until you get to 50, just to ensure that you maintain that losing streak. We can get some riders happening. We're still over 50, so we can put one into leveling there and then take someone off. And now we've got a few combos on the board. We've got a Demon Punisher combo, or we're still got to take someone off. We'll take off that Cyborg. So that's a couple of the things you need to consider when building an economy, what you're spending mana crystals on. Now, obviously, I haven't spent a whole lot on the board. I've got some units on the bench, but most of my mana crystals at this stage have been building towards getting 50 mana crystals so that I can then basically just spend off the interest. Now, our losing streak is continuing and we're down to 43 health now, so it's at some point in time, especially if you go on the losing streak route to build your economy, you just need to go back under 50. Staying alive is the most important thing. You can't win the game if you die early. So sure, getting to 50 is good, but you need to counterbalance that with what's going to be best for you winning or at least placing in the top 3. So at this point in time, I'm probably going to spend a little bit more on leveling up so we can get some more units out there. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Drag a new unit out there. And maybe spin a couple of times, and let's see if I can get some 2-star. There we go, a couple of 2-stars. I'll grab that Scourge as well, so we can get him to 2-star. And that's why it's worth spinning a few times. I'm actually going to spin one more time. We stay above 20. Getting a few 2-stars has really helped, and we may potentially win this fight. Let's see how we go. We're still getting 2 interest because we've got 20 mana crystals. We're still on a losing streak, so we're still getting the +3 from that, and obviously the 5 mana crystals for our basic income every turn. It looks like we are actually going to win this one. So you'll see here that our losing streak is actually gone. We've lost our losing streak. but we're still getting that interest and we're still getting that. Now, let's say I didn't want any of these. I might sell them off now and try and beat the end of the round. If I can get all the way up to 30, not quite. If I was able to get to 30, then I'd increase the interest there by 1 as well. So if there's units on your bench that you no longer need and you're very close to ticking over to the next set of 10, definitely sell those units to try and earn that extra interest. Another tip that, do I have any druids currently? I do not. So I'm going to search for a couple of druids. I'm not sure if this is going to work because we're pretty far into the game and these are earlier level druids, so it might be hard to find. But there is actually a trick you can do with the Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor is a tier 1 druid. There he is, actually. We've got one of him, so we just need one more and then any other druid. And if I can find them, there's another druid. So we're just looking for one more Witch Doctor. There's another Witch Doctor. Okay, so those Witch Doctors cost 1 mana crystal each because they're tier 1 heroes. But what you'll see in a second, as we go back into the prepare phase, is that using the druid combo, you can level 2 of those up to a 2-star Witch Doctor, and you can then sell him off for a profit. So if you see them early, and you got some mana crystals and it's not going to cost you interest. Obviously, it's not worth doing if it's going to cost you interest, but if you can kind of manage it, put one each out, level up the Witch Doctor. Now we don't need that druid anymore, we can sell him. And now you'll see that this Witch Doctor is actually worth 3 mana crystals. We can sell that Witch Doctor and we've just earned ourselves 1 mana crystal profit. So that is just a little handy tip. I don't believe there are any other units that you can do that with, but it's really useful if you just got mana crystals to burn and you just want to make a tiny little bit of a profit there. It's a neat little trick. So that is basically it. Myself, I personally try to avoid the losing streak if I can, but if I find myself on a bit of a losing streak, then I just commit to it. Obviously keeping an eye on the health that I'm currently at and making sure to maintain a decent buffer. Anything above, once I get below 50, which is half of my health, I start to get worried, and then you got to start changing things up, start spending, start rolling, start leveling, trying to get 2-star heroes and making sure you've got the same number, if not more units than every other player. So you can currently see that I'm level 8. There is no one else that is a level 9, and in fact, there's only 3 level 8s. Everyone else is a level 7 or a level 6. They're actually looking pretty good at maintaining a win streak, which you can see I am on a win streak now. So we've definitely turned things around. Currently on a 2-win streak, so things are looking much better. Although we've only got 34 health to play with, we've still got more mana crystals than most other people. There's 3 of the other players that have more mana crystals than me, so we're definitely competing for the end game there as well. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. This is, of course, classic mode. In cooperative mode, you're playing with a partner, so the economy is a little bit different. Often what you'll find, and thanks to Devil Heroes for informing me of this, because I'm not a high-level cooperative player, but he is, that at the top end of the ranks that you'll actually find partners that are talking to one another. One of them will focus on economy and really not spend too much on rolling, if anything, until I get to 50 mana crystals, and the other partner will actually roll fairly aggressively to try and get 2-star heroes early on so that they can do quite well. They can, of course, share those 2-star heroes with their partner, and so that's a really good way in cooperative mode to actually build an economy. One player focuses on that, the other player focuses on maximizing the power of their units. And in turbo mode, which is the mode that I play the most, turbo mode is a faster version of classic mode. Obviously, you start with less health, you gain more XP every round, but in terms of the mana crystals that you earn, you actually start off with 3 mana crystals, then the next round you get plus 5 basic income, the next round you get plus 7 basic income, and the round after that you get plus 10 basic income, and that sustains for the rest of the game. So every round in turbo you're getting 10 mana just as your basic income. If you get a win, you get 2 mana crystals. The winning and losing streaks stay the same. You're just getting 1, 2, or 3 depending on how long that streak continues on for. But because you actually get 10 basic income, the interest is the same as well. And because you get plus 2 mana crystals for a win, and because you got less health, going up for a losing streak economy building strategy is not really viable in turbo mode. In fact, turbo mode, you're much less focused on economy. The most important thing in my mind to build a good economy in turbo mode is actually to get on a winning streak, because then you're getting the streak bonus and you're getting +2 every round for winning, along with the +10 basic income. You're actually getting a lot of mana crystals every round, and that's the fastest way to both level up the heroes on your board and to then build that economy. So turbo mode is definitely very different to classic mode, so keep that in mind if that is a mode that you go and play. But that's an overview of mana crystals, building an economy, the considerations you need to have when spending mana crystals, and the various things that you can spend mana crystals on. If you think that I've missed anything, or if you've got any questions, definitely leave a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my future content, and thank you so much for watching this video.